ago. So they didn't build any kind of solid state drive bays or anything like that, 2.5 inch drive bays into this case whatsoever. So I went and bought this Sabrent 2.5 inch times 2 to 3.5 inch converter, adapter, whatever you want to call it. So it pretty much fits two of these 2.5 inch solid states into one of these, and then this will load into the little drive bay where your hard drive would usually go. And I almost ended up buying like a cheaper version of this for like $8, and it came with nothing. It just came with screws and the adapter. And then as I'm scrolling through Amazon, I saw this little bugger. It was like $9.99, so it was $2 more, and it came with screws, extra cables, blue freaking SATA cables and stuff like that. So I was like, yes. All my fans inside of here are all blue and stuff like that. I got a bunch of RGB for my motherboard, my RAM, and all that kind of crap. I am going with a liquid cooler that's got RGB on it too, so I figure I might as well get blue to match my case and shit like that. That's pretty cool. Does come with a splitter for your SATA power, so you can hook both of the drives that go into here into one power supply. That's pretty nice. And it does come with two of these little cables, so once I get another SSD, I can plug it in. Alright, and it comes with a bunch of little screws as well, all the screws you need to mount the SSD into the adapter and stuff like that. It comes with a little quick guide on how to do it, blah blah. I mean, it's pretty simple and straightforward. You just kind of screw the SSD right into this little bugger. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. See if I can do this without taking too long and looking like a complete idiot. And the reason why I went with this one is because it's cheap. I've done as much research as I can over the past 2 months because I finally knew I was having a decent, tax return coming in. I wanted to build my own PC finally. And right now is a horrible ass time to build a PC. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I'm sure you are. But graphics card prices are absolutely outrageous right now, and it's bullshit. I'm not spending pretty much double MSRP to get a standalone graphics card for $400 freaking dollars. It's stupid. So what I decided to go with is the Ryzen 5 2400G APU, which is a CPU with the integrated graphics. And the thing seems like a little badass. From all the test scores and stuff that they've been putting out, the Ryzen 5 2400G seems awesome. The 11 compute units makes it compete with like the 1030, the GTX 1030 pretty much right out of the box. I'm assuming they did all those tests without overclocking it whatsoever. So I'm betting that it can do better than the 1030 once you overclock it and all that kind of good stuff. These seem way too big. Yeah, there's got to be, I was going to say, those screws are way too big. There's little screws and big screws. So they give you little screws to mount the SSD inside of the adapter, and then big screws to mount the adapter into your hard drive bay. So anyways, yeah, the Ryzen 2400G seemed like the perfect processor to go with right now because it absolutely crushes Intel's APUs as far as performance go. And what it does is pretty much, I'm just using it as like a placeholder. So the 2400G will hopefully allow me to play the games that I want to play for now, at a decent level. I don't need to be playing 1440, whatever the hell people are playing at nowadays. I play like StarCraft, Counter-Strike, Rust, basic ass games that really don't take all that much processing power, graphics processing power. So I don't think I'm going to need a standalone graphics card right now. Ideally, yes, I would like to get one in the future so that I can... Alright, so right off the bat, getting a screwdriver with a magnetic tip is probably 10 times fucking easier because this is stupid. I can't get the damn screw to stay on the screwdriver. And I even borrowed the little magnetizer thing from my work the other day and didn't fucking magnetize my screws for some reason because I'm an idiot. There we go, got it. So yeah, get screwdrivers with magnetic tips. It'll probably make life 10 times fucking easier. So anyways, oh, I didn't even check to see if I'm putting this thing in the right way. Oh, I guess I am, because it lines up back here to where you can actually plug your little cables in. I don't know if you can see that. I wasn't sure if I was putting it in the right way or not, but yeah, that would say that I am. So the Ryzen 2400G will hopefully be a placeholder for me, either until graphics prices go down and I can get a standalone graphics card that'll, you know, make it worth it over the price of what the 2400G can do by itself, or I'll just keep it for a little while until Ryzen 2 or Ryzen 3 comes out and I drop down to that 7 nanometer processing die or whatever. And those processors are probably going to be fucking insane compared to the shit that we're using now. I mean, if we're going from 14 nanometer to 7 nanometer, one would assume that the power or performance is going to be, you know, double. I doubt that. No, I'm not saying we're going to go from like 5 gigahertz to fucking 10 gigahertz or anything like that, but we should see a pretty giant boost in not only clock speeds, but just how fast they can run shit at. But who knows? I'm a newbie and I'm just, you know, talking out of my ass based on what other people have said and stuff like that, so one can only hope. So I'm just going to use the 2400G for now until either these fucking miners stop buying everything off the market. There are new graphics cards supposedly coming out this year, later on in the year and shit like that, which either should alleviate some of the strain on the processors that are out right now and allow the prices to go down, because all these damn miners will hopefully buy like the new processors, the new GPUs that come out, because they should be better, you would assume. Alright, got it in there. So that little bugger just mounts in, 4 little screws, doot, 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 doot. And then you just mount this thing inside of here. So this should just slide in like so. Oh, that looks cool. And then you just gotta make sure you get the screw holes all lined up correctly, which I don't think I fucking did. So one would go there. So there's only 3 screw holes, and 2 of them are gapped really far apart, so I'm assuming, oh, yep, it should go that way, so that my cables can get to it easily. There we go. So you just kind of, you know, rest this in here in the drive bay. So the drive bay is all like padded and rubber and shit like that in here, so it's nice. But my biggest problem, why I'm finally building my PC, is I keep breaking laptops. I rage when I play video games. And I've had a laptop for like the past 6 years. Well, I've had 6 laptops for the past 6 years because I keep smacking the shit out of them when I get pissed. Either because it's lagging, because my internet sucks, or my computer sucks because I never get something with a good enough dedicated graphics card. So I just ended up raging out, smacking the shit out of my laptop, my keyboard and stuff like that. And I break the hard drives pretty much every time. All 6 of them, broken hard drives. I've replaced a couple hard drives in some of them, and they just end up not working as well as they did the first time. So I've given up. I fucking hate laptops. So I'm finally building a desktop that hopefully I can't break or rage out on. You know, maybe I can take my keyboard and smash my keyboard and shit like that. And it won't be that bad. I bought the Cooler Master, I don't know, something. It was like $50 on eBay, and it's, you know, red, green, blue. You can change the spectrum throughout all the different keys and shit like that. It's got a bunch of different modes like breathing and pulse and cool shit like that. And it was $50 for the keyboard and the mouse, and the mouse does RGB and shit like that too. So if I need to rage out, I'll smash my fucking keyboard into the fucking ground, and I'll only be down $50 instead of, you know, $600 when I break a laptop. So that'll be cool. As well, I am only buying solid state drives from this point ever on. It's going to cost me a shit ton more. Okay, that one doesn't seem to want to go. I got 3 of the screws in. This 4th one doesn't seem to want to line up, right? So I only have a 240 gig hard drive right now. It's not much. It'd be enough for me to throw Windows onto and maybe a couple games just to get started. can always add more hard drives in, but hard drives are freaking expensive right now too. Between RAM and hard drives and graphics processors, I mean, that shit's costing more than anything else. Like, I spent more on my RAM than I did on my motherboard and my processor and pretty much everything else. Like, my RAM was the most expensive piece that I bought. And some people might call me stupid and blah blah, doesn't make that much of a difference. You didn't need to buy 3200 megahertz RAM, 2666 would have done the same thing. It's only like a 1% difference. I don't give a shit. From everything that I've heard from all the different people and everything that do Ryzens and shit, Ryzen likes fast RAM, so I bought fast RAM. And I went with the G.Skill Trident Z 3200 megahertz 16 gigabyte kit. And hopefully it's going to allow me to overclock the shit out of my processor and overclock the shit out of that little graphics, you know, chip that's built into the processor. And I can get both of them going at a reasonable rate to where I'm happy with it without having to buy a graphics processor anytime soon. That's my goal. So I spent a little bit extra on my other parts since I knew I wasn't buying a graphics processor right now. Like every video you watch, everyone's always, oh, don't get this board, put it into your GPU. Don't buy this RGB something, put it into your GPU. That's not the way I was going with this. I want this thing to be somewhat future-proof, you know, and have nice shit, and then be able to add in a better processor later and a better GPU later and stuff like that. So, I splurged a little bit just on stupid shit, you know, just because I could. So I went with the MSI X370 Gaming Pro Carbon motherboard. Usually about 160 bucks. This thing is sweet. I got it, you know, for 160, but with like a $30 mail-in rebate and all that kind of stuff. So it was only about 130 bucks. I just got to send the rebate in. I just printed out the forms and all that crap. So about 130 bucks for that. My case I've had for, like I said, 5 years. I think I spent about 120-ish, maybe 119 back when I first got this case years ago. So that was 120, 130 for the motherboard. I went with the Corsair CX550M power supply that's in here. You saw that on my last build. That semi-modular. Go with semi-modular is all I can say. If you're building a new case, don't be afraid of modular or semi-modular, whatever. Just at least go semi-modular. You're stupid to get a regular one and be stuck with all those cables inside your case all the time. It's nonsense. Semi-modular, the only two wires that are hardwired in are the motherboard power supply and then the power that goes to your motherboard for your CPU, which you have to have anyways, so you're going to plug those wires in. You might as well just get the semi-modular, and that way you can choose what other wires you want to plug in, because I'm not using a graphics card, so I have no need for the wires that would power my graphics card to be wired in there and be stuck inside my case and trying to hide them for the next, you know, however long until I get one. Blah, blah. Okay, past that. That was like 60 bucks for the power supply. It's a 550. It'll do fine. That's more than enough power for what I need, especially without a graphics card. So that was 60 bucks. The most expensive thing that I bought is this damn RAM. It was 200 bucks for the 3200. It was $220 for the 3000 RAM with the what is it, CL15. This is CL16, so it would have cost me $20 more to get slower RAM and a faster latency. It's like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna get the 3216 CL. It'll do just fine. So that was 200 bucks. That was by far the most expensive thing that I bought. My processor, from what Ryzen said, is only going to be $169.99 when it comes out on the 12th, which is like, what, 5 days from now, 6 days from now, something like that. It's next Monday. So I'm going to be up Sunday night, all fucking night, if there's no like pre-order thing that I can get into before that, because from all the hype on this thing, I think that 2400G is going to sell out quick. A lot of people seem to want to get their hands on it. So I'm going to stay up all night, Sunday night, to make sure that I can get a freaking order in for it. Otherwise, this is going to be boring as shit. So anyways, I got that. I went with the, like I said, Silicon Power SSD, 240 gig. It was like 62 bucks. It was like $10 or $12 less than what the Kingston was, and the read writes really aren't that far off. It's an SSD. They're all fast. That's where you're really not going to notice a difference in speeds for the most part. Everyone's like, oh, you're not going to notice it in your RAM. I guarantee you I notice my overclocking differences based on having a faster RAM compared to buying that stupid Samsung 850 EVO at like $96 for an SSD. It's like 30-something dollars more for the exact same storage, just in a little teeny bit faster write speed. No thanks. Pass. Hard pass. This thing has a 3-year warranty on it or whatever. I believe it said when I pulled it out. That will do me just fine for 62 bucks. And then the only other thing that I'm waiting on, my last part that I still don't have, is my water cooler. I bought the Cooler Master 120 ml or something RGB all-in-one liquid water cooler. So I figured that would help. You know, it was on sale for like $49.99, and the non-RGB version was only $39.99, so it was a $10 difference for the same thing, but with an RGB fan and RGB built onto the pump, you know, that goes over the processor. So for 10 bucks, I was like, fuck yeah, let's get the RGB one, you know, and make this a real RGB build. And I'm pretty sure that's all my parts, because I don't have a graphics card coming. I'm not using an M2 drive, which I would love to in the future. And other than that, that's pretty much it. I do have a shit ton of fans built into this case already. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's one in that freaking the door that goes right here. There's a giant 240 millimeter built into that door. So I want to get like a fan controller to put in here, but reading the reviews on the fan controllers, I don't know, seem a little bit awkward. Because this is an old case, like 3 of these fans have these fucking, I don't know if you can see this, but they have like the 4-pin Molex connectors. 3 of the fans have this, and then 2 of the fans have the regular 3 plug ones instead of the 4 plug. So not really sure. I can't really seem to figure out exactly what's on the back of these fan controllers that I've been looking at, if they have enough Molex connectors, or if I can just, you know, pigtail all the Molexes together and plug them into one port on the back of that fan controller, and it would let me control them all the same. I guess it wouldn't give me very much customization, you know, if all 3 of them are wired into the same shit. But that's what I'm going to do in here off my power supply anyways, is honestly wire 3 of them directly into my power supply so that they're running, you know, based on the power supply. And then these 2 ones will go into my case, into my motherboard, and I'll let the motherboard control them. And then obviously my all-in-one liquid cooler has to plug into the motherboard, and the pump has to plug into the motherboard too. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, this thing mounted up nice and easy. Happy that was stupid simple. So what I'm gonna do next is, I think I'm gonna put my RAM sticks in, because I am super fucking stoked to get them in. I don't really have a mount for my phone yet, because I'm just a newbie to recording and shit like that. So what I'm gonna try and do is see if I can set this up here, like so, and then maybe wiggle and wiggle a little bit, and maybe wiggle. Ah, yeah, see, look at that, you can see it now, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn it just a little bit more. Okay, so this is the MSI X370 motherboard. Let me get this shit out of the way before I scratch my motherboard like an idiot. So based on the little manual that came in with my motherboard, they want you to, out of the 4 DIMM slots, they want you to, if you're using 2 sticks of RAM, which we are, 2 8GB sticks. I'm just gonna pop this bad boy out real quick. And they want you to install them in the 2 and 4 slot. Some people would think that you'd start off in these first 2 slots, you know, with 2 sticks of RAM. That is absolutely not the case, apparently. You just got to consult the little thing that comes along with your motherboard and make sure you're putting shit in the right slots. Oh, those bitches are sexy, man. Look at them. So they are the RGB, so this top white piece or whatever glows, you know, throughout the 180 color spectrum or whatever the hell it is. And you can link it up with the Aurora Sync blah blah from Asus and shit like that, which I don't know if I'm going to use or not, because my motherboard comes with its own software. MSI has their own software for the RGB that's all built into the board and shit like that. And I believe everything that's plugged into the board can all be controlled through that software as well, if it's RGB or whatever. Okay, so you got to look for the little slot, and it's fatter on one side, a little smaller on the other side, it looks like. And you just line that up with the board the correct way. So you got to make sure you pop these open. And all I can say is big help came from watching pretty much 4 different people on YouTube. Jay's 2 cents, Hardware Unboxed, Tech Deals, and Bitwit are amazing videos pretty much on how to build a PC, what to do and what not to do. And God, I hope I make them proud and not fuck this up, because this is some really fucking expensive RAM. That's all I've been watching for 3 months. It's just pretty much their videos. All the different videos I can get my hands on from them and have time to do at work. I watch all of them. Okay, so it looks like it's lined up right. The slot's in the right part. And they say you just kind of gotta push till you hear clicks, like so. So there are clicks on both sides. I'm pretty sure that fucker's in. But yeah, man, Jay's 2 cents, Bitwit, Paul's Hardware, and Tech Deals. There's no Hardware Unboxed, I believe it is, something like that. The Australian guy, he's fucking awesome. So I guess it's like five people that have really freaking made building a PC understandable for a newbie like me. They really do a good job of breaking everything down, telling you what to do and what not to do. They go over a lot of different parts, a lot of different brands and stuff like that. So between the 5, oh Jesus Christ, between the 5 of them, you should be able to get a pretty freaking good understanding of exactly what you need to do to build your PC on whatever platform you're choosing to go with. Whether it be Intel or Ryzen, blah blah, they have videos for both. Like so. And it looks like it's in there pretty freaking hard and secure. It's in there pretty hard and secure. Both sides did lock down all the way. So I think those bad boys are in there. And God, they look sexy. So sexy. Alright, unfortunately I don't have my processor yet, so I can't turn this frickin' thing on to start playing with all the sexy lights and stuff like that too. So yeah, what I did find out is the Cooler Master all-in-one pump that I'm getting is designed to fit pretty much right onto these brackets. So I believe you just remove the screws, or it clamps right onto the bracket without having to remove the screws. One of the two. So it's pretty much designed to fit the Ryzen socket really well. So that'll be nice and simple. What's nice too about that all-in-one liquid cooler is, like I said, I got a bunch of fans inside my case. The only one that doesn't freaking glow is this back fan back here. So I'm going to rip that little sucker out and stick the RGB fan that comes with the liquid cooler in the radiator and mount it right there. And that way I get rid of my crappy fan that doesn't glow, and I get a radiator and an RGB fan there. So that'll be pretty sweet. So now that I got my RAM sticks on here, I did have to go in. My previous video, I had this thing already mounted up inside the case just to test it, make sure I could kind of get everything to turn on in case I need to send it back before my processor got here, and everything seemed to work okay. I could only get like 4 of these standoffs to go in. Like, it came with 6 standoffs already built into the case for the motherboard, and then there's 3 more that could go in. And I could not for the life of me get them to fucking go in, you know, by hand or whatever. So I had to get some more pliers and stuff like that and really kind of torque them down into the case. And it seems like they're in good now. So what I'm going to do is get this shit out of the way. And I'm going to try and put my motherboard back in the case. And we'll see how it goes. And pray to God I don't screw anything up on camera. I look like a freaking idiot. Because I'd like to get everything wired back up in here and ready to go and screw around with my cable management. Because honestly, I think once the processor, getting a processor, and I can lay this case on its side, drop the processor in, you know, 0 force insertion, whatever, with the Ryzen chip. So that should be super easy. That shouldn't have to have my motherboard out of my case to do that. And then the CPU cooler said it's designed to pretty much fit right onto this thing without too much fuss, so I don't think I'll need it out of the case for that either. I should be able to just kind of tilt the case on its side, drop the CPU in, mount the pump on top of the block or whatever, you know, with some thermal paste, and then I just need to mount the radiator right back here inside my case, and everything will be ready to go. So let's see if we can lay this bad boy on its side and get my motherboard back up in here. Start doing some cable management. I might have to switch this into 2 videos because it's getting kind of long. So we'll do a second video of installing the motherboard and cable management. So see you fuckers in the next video.